Hello and welcome to the Vanguard Gifted Academy Education Channel. I'm Shannon Holub and this is episode 2. I am the master teacher for the intermediate level here at Vanguard, and I'd like to talk to you about a question that pops into the minds of parents who have just found out that they have a gifted child. Where shall I send my child to school? Now, the logistical question that comes first is public or private, and I've actually taught in both public and private settings. And I'm here to tell you that I don't think that's the question. I don't think the question is public versus private. I think the question is, who are the administrators and the staff members of these programs? If you have the dedicated staff who is trained, who has experience with gifted children, you are going to have a child thrive in that program, no matter whether it's a public or a private setting. Let's face it, high intelligence creates special educational needs. For a student who is intellectually ahead of her peers, it takes some training, some assistance to figure out how to handle that in her life. On any given day, she might be thinking at a 5th grade level, but she might be feeling the emotions of a 2nd grader. If the staff members of the program do not have sensitivity to that asynchronous development, you might find that you have to advocate for your child's needs every step of the way through their education. These days in Illinois, public schools are mandated to provide acceleration opportunities for any deserving child in either a single subject area or by grade level. Now, that's a welcome step forward. But what is not mandated is that the teachers who will be teaching these accelerated students receive any additional gifted education training. Furthermore, you might find that your child who is gifted winds up in a collection of learning profiles that is unexpected. There may be typical learners of an older age, there may be high achievers, and there may be other gifted students. But that could cause there to be less of a fit than you might think between your child and the curriculum. Let me give you an example. One of the most interesting and challenging classes I've ever had to teach was a math class made up of 30 students who had, through math placement testing, wound up being positioned to start into a program called Pre-Transitions Math. Now, what wasn't taken into consideration was learning profiles. Half the class was made up of typical learners from the 5th grade, and the other half of the class was gifted learners from the 4th grade. It became evident so quickly in the beginning of the school year that these two different groups of students needed two distinctly different approaches to their lessons. So I quickly made some changes. The typical learners needed and deserved to have a linear progression to the topics. They needed to have repetition enough to the point of feeling secure in their mastery of these skills. Meanwhile, the gifted learners needed and deserved to have a faster pace to the curriculum, fewer repetitions, the chance to explore problem-solving techniques on their own, and the opportunity to expand on the discussions of each lesson beyond the parameters of the lesson. Frankly, a less experienced teacher would have really struggled with this situation because even though both of the groups were ready at the same starting point, they really were very different types of learners. And a less experienced teacher might not even notice that there was quite the problem. So the takeaway is you have many options out there, some wonderful options in both public and private settings, and you as a parent have every right to pursue questions that get at the nature of the programs, the philosophy of how you educate gifted students, and the nature of the background of the staff who are assigned to the program. But trust me, it really will matter for your child. If you have had successes or struggles in either public or private settings, please consider sharing them with others using #VanguardGiftedAcademy. And we will also post the link to the Accelerated Placement Act for your reference. As always, thank you for listening.